As we get closer to this quarterback decision, I want to give you another breakdown, and this time I want to break down the comments from Coach Harsin that he made on Saturday. And with these, I'll do similar to what I did with the Coach Keys interview and just give you a breakdown step by step of some things that he said, what that could potentially mean, and give you as much clarity as we can. So with that, let's go ahead and look at this first clip where he's talking about all three quarterbacks, really. He even mentions Holden Garner for a second. But let's take a look at the comments he makes, especially about TJ Finley.
I thought TJ did some really good things in the scrimmage as far as just managing the clock and the situations and making sure that we didn't have to call timeouts. So he has a really good awareness on the field. I thought Robby made some plays, just standing in the pocket and throwing, and made some plays with his feet and getting out and scrambling and making a few throws. Zach did a nice job as well. He moved the chains and scored touchdowns. So all three guys, Holden didn't get a ton of reps in the scrimmage, but those three guys mainly, they all did some positive things that we needed to see from them.
Harsin mentions here that TJ does a good job managing the clock. Whenever you hear Harsin or Coach Keys mention management, taking command, those are some key words that are going to indicate who they think is ready for the starting quarterback position. And when he's talking about all three guys, who does he talk about the most? Who does he talk about first? Both Coach Keys and Coach Harsin talked about them in the same order. TJ, Robby, Zach. That is a huge indication at where we are in this battle. And just with the language that's being used, it is very evident that TJ is currently QB1. I know a lot of other people have different things to say. Ignore the noise on this. They're wrong. Holden Garner is not the starter. I know that's a thing that's out there right now. Guys, he just started. He's just getting into the system. He may be good and he may have an accurate pass and all that, and that's fantastic, but he's new and he's getting into the system. Listen to what the coaches are saying. Just listen. Use your ears and make a determination. Listen to what they're saying.
Yeah, I don't know. Too early to tell right now. I mean, I'll get with the coaches. We're going to take today, and the coaches are going to handle what they need to and do some of the things personally so they can be ready to go on Sunday. And then what we'll do after our team activity on Sunday is we'll sit down as a staff and we'll start going through, all right, where are we at? All right, so potentially by Tuesday we could be there, and I want to see what everybody thinks. One thing about a quarterback situation, it's not just the QBs. I mean, we're looking at other positions as well. Go up there and just look at, all right, what gives us the best opportunity to go out there and operate what we want to do. Defensively, offensively, who's going to travel, look at the travel squads for special teams, who's playing on special teams, and that's a big part right now that we've been harping on with guys is like, look, you want to get on the bus, you got to find a way on teams if you're not the guy on O&D. And so we'll probably look at that Sunday. I'm sure on Monday, go back and let everybody look at the board again and kind of let it all sink in and see if this is where we're going. I'm not saying by Tuesday we have the final decision. That final decision will come towards the end of next week, for sure going into that last week, game week. But I want to see where everybody's at with just their thought process on who we think the guys are.
I've seen a lot of places reporting that the quarterback decision is going to happen on Tuesday, and that comes from the first part of what you just heard Coach Harsin say. He did mention that a decision could come on Tuesday. They're going to look at a lot of the film, look at a lot of where players stand over this weekend, look at it on Sunday, and then they're going to make a decision going into the week. But then at the end of this video, he actually says that a decision is more than likely to come next weekend. So I would not look for a decision before Friday. I would think more than likely Friday is going to be the day, but there is a possibility it could be as early as Tuesday, but I will be a little surprised unless they just feel like they have all the pieces in place. They feel very confident about their decision and what they're seeing. I think they're going to wait until Friday to name the starting quarterback.
Sure. Well, last year was different with Bo. That was a little bit different because I think that was a little bit more solidified early on. And this is more of the way that I've always kind of charted the guys and have done it for a long time like that. Just it's really everything, right? It's every meeting. That's one of the things too. Just at the quarterback position, right? Every meeting. All right, our guys early. They got the notebooks out. Are they ready to go? Just it's this whole just pro approach is what it is, and you can tell who your quarterback is when you walk into a room. I think That guy's sitting down, he's got his notebook out, he's locked in, he's dialed, he sits in the meeting room and he pays attention, he knows the answers, he's flowing with the coach. He's one of the first guys out there on the field, he's getting warmed up, he's got command of what's going on. So just every single thing, because you think about in that room, there's myself, I played quarterback, Coach Keesaw played quarterback, Mike Hartline played quarterback in there. So you got three guys in that room, that have been around the quarterback position for a while. Then our players, you're trying to help these guys not just what they're doing physically, but how to play the position and what it takes. So every single thing, every single day, evaluate it, and then it kind of just starts back over again. All right, now here's where you are. What are you going to do today? And we just keep resetting goals. Because when we get out there, it's not going to be easy for them, right? We hope practice is really hard every single day. I hope it's harder than the game. But when they get on the field there, things are going to happen. It happened in the scrimmage, right? You think one thing's going to go a certain way, and all of a sudden, bang, in 2 drives, it's not going that way. Well, how do you respond? What are you going to do? And I think all those guys have done a good job.
What I like about this clip is that it tells us once again that Coach Harsin and his other coaches, they're looking for the quarterback who is the professional, who can get out there, who can be the manager, the leader, who can take charge and really lead this team in the right direction, who can command the team, and who in practices and film review and all that, who's got their notebooks out, who's making improvements, who's taking the information the coaches are giving them and applying that to the situations when they get in practice and in those scrimmages. And from every indication we have, that is TJ Finley. So those are the things that they're looking for. And so that's why I keep saying, listen to what they're saying, listen to what the coaches are saying, because they are giving you all the hints you need to figure out who the starter is, regardless of what your friends are saying on Facebook. So keep on listening. Listen to what the coaches are saying. They're going to tell you before they actually make the announcement.
Heck, today Holden, Holden hasn't got a ton of reps. Holden comes out there today and he's firing the ball better than all of them, in my opinion. So we're trying to do these drills, and then all of a sudden, Holden just comes out of nowhere, and he's one of the best throwers that I've coached, and he's getting some things figured out fundamentally. So all of a sudden now you're sitting there going, okay, where's this guy been? And he's just young, but now it's, sometimes you have those moments where it's like, okay, I'm ready. And I don't know when that's going to be for a young player, but Holden's starting to come on now, and he's not going to get those same amount of reps, but here's a guy that's building, and so that's going to carry over into the season. And then who knows what happens? If he keeps advancing and growing and developing, then there's a guy that can spin it. A guy that we thought would be a good player for us. But
okay, this part about Holden Garner, this is something that has been picked up by a lot of people, a lot of blogs and people on Facebook and Twitter, and that's because he came out and said that Holden G actually looked better with his throwing than all 3 of the other quarterbacks on Saturday. He's not saying that he is ready to be a starter over all the other guys. He's saying that he looks good, and in that particular practice or scrimmage, he looked better from a passing perspective. Now, if you listened a little further, he did say that he's still getting some of the fundamentals and foundational skills down. So that doesn't mean he is ready for the job just yet. He is just trying to put some stuff out there to show, hey, he has the potential to be good, but we've got to build him up a little bit more. We've got to coach him some more, but the potential is there for Holden Garner.
Those guys, every day they walk in the building, they're being evaluated. All eyes are on them, and that's just how we do it. It might be not how everybody does it. That's just how we do it and what we feel like is important for us, because that's how our quarterbacks are going to be trained. They're going to be trained like pros, and you want them to act like that. So, there's a lot of responsibility that way.
Coach Harsin and Coach Keys mentioned this evaluation system they have multiple times, and I kind of would like to know more about it. I know they're not going to reveal it completely, but it just sounds like the quarterbacks, when they're with the team, they're practicing, they're studying, they're doing all the things that they're supposed to do. They are under a constant evaluation process. And you keep hearing Harsin say, we want to treat them like professionals, treat them like pros. They need to act like professionals. And so they are really and truly under a constant evaluation process, because they want to make sure they have the right guy for the job when he gets to the first game.
Yeah, maturity. I really do. I think he's, I'll say this, TJ's got a coach's mentality. He sees things out there, and that's just, not everybody conceptually picks things up very quickly. It takes a little bit of time, and he's got that mentality, and that's just some guys have it. Some guy, it takes some time for others. Like, you'll figure it out, but we all know, like, we're all good at something, and sometimes guys are really good at football and just kind of just seeing it. And a couple examples in the scrimmage, right? He sees, we get the play in late. The clock's winding down. It's going to be a timeout situation. Well, he's getting everybody lined up and getting the snap count to what it needs to be so we can get the play off and then executing the play. So it's not a panic. He's just doing it with urgency and gets everybody lined up, and then bang, we convert a 3rd down and 9. So, like, those are things to me that I think he does a really good job of. Physically, all the quarterbacks, right? You're always talking about accuracy. That's the first thing. You got to be an accurate thrower. Those are areas that they all can work on. Okay, our quarterbacks haven't been hit. There's no live work, right? The first time they're going to get hit is going to be in the first game. So, you mentally have to challenge yourself to stand there and not flinch and know, like, that guy's barreling down. Like, Owen Papo running through untouched is going to hit you right in your chest plate. And you're going to do one of two things. You're going to stand there and deliver, or you're going to get on your back foot and flinch. I mean, that remains to be seen. And I think that's the one thing that, you can tell with the quarterback when you get into a game who's going to stand in there and deliver, because those things are going to happen. Is that ball going to sail and go over somebody's head, or can he drive it right home and hit the receiver and take the hit? And I think all those guys mentally are better. Robby's throwing the ball much better. He came in here. I mean, that was something that we worked on quite a bit with Robby, just throwing the ball and getting to a good rhythm. He's doing that now. So I think that's another example of TJ kind of elevating that room and, from a mental standpoint, and getting the other guys to play at a higher level. So I just think he does a good job. He studies, he prepares, he comes out there, he knows what to do. I mean, little things like the drill screwed up. He's, like, flip the cones. Like, he pays attention to stuff like that, like, this isn't right. And those are little things that not everybody does. And he's just got, a good way of making sure those things are done properly.
For people who keep questioning, has TJ improved from last season? Listen to what Coach just said. Rewind this if you need to, but listen to what he said in this last part. Someone asked, how has TJ improved? I don't know the exact question, but how has he improved? And he said that TJ's improved with his maturity. He has a coach's mentality. That tells you all you need to know. I keep telling you, listen to what the coaches are saying. Listen to what they're telling you. If he's saying that TJ has a coach's mentality and that he is matured, TJ's the guy. And so I do expect we're going to have an announcement by the end of this week. And it seems very much from the past 2 interviews I've looked at with Coach Keys and Coach Harsin that they already in their head know who the person is. They're just trying to go back and look at film and make sure that what they're thinking is really what they're seeing on film. We think TJ's the guy. We see the maturity. We see the coach's mentality. Is that translating when we actually break down the film and we look at what he's doing on the field? So this is how I'll end this video. Look for an announcement by Friday or at least next weekend, and that's going to set us up. Going into that first game, we'll be ready. But I think for sure by next Friday or Saturday, we are going to have a quarterback named, and whoever it is, everybody support the guy because they see stuff out on social media, and we don't want to be our own worst enemy. We don't want to hurt our own players by saying negative stuff about them. It's a new year, and everybody deserves a fresh start. So let's give TJ a fresh start as well, because I do think he's going to be our starting quarterback. War Eagle.